Reading of Bill 89, an act to enact the Child, Youth and Family Services Act 2017 to amend and repeal the Child and Family Services Act and make related amendments and other acts. Call on the members. This will be a 5-minute round. On May 31, 2017, Mr. Del Duca moved third reading of Bill 89, an act to enact the Child, Youth and Family Services Act 2017 to amend and repeal the Child and Family Services Act and to make related amendments to other acts. All those in favour, please rise one at a time. Be recognized by
Mr. Coteau.
Mr. Coteau.
Mr. Nafty.
Mr. Nafty.
Mr. Bradley.
Mr. Bradley.
Mr. Del Duca.
Mr. Del Duca.
Mrs. Sandals.
Mrs. Sandals.
Mr. Sousa.
Mr. Sousa.
Ms. Wynne.
Ms. Wynne.
Ms. Matthews.
Ms. Matthews.
Mr. Hoskins.
Mr. Hoskins.
Mr. Shirelli.
Mr. Shirelli.
Mr. Duguid.
Mr. Duguid.
Ms. McCharles.
Ms. McCharles.
Mr. McMeekin.
Mr. McMeekin.
Mr. Takar.
Mr. Takar.
Mr. Cole.
Mr. Cole.
Mr. Bardinetti.
Mr. Bardinetti.
Mr. Delaney.
Mr. Delaney.
Mr. Dillon.
Mr. Dillon.
Mr. Murray.
Mr. Murray.
Mr. Chan.
Mr. Chan.
Mr. Moridi.
Mr. Moridi.
Ms. Hunter.
Ms. Hunter.
Mr. Leal.
Mr. Leal.
Mr. Flynn.
Mr. Flynn.
Mr. Tebow.
Mr. Tebow.
Madame Lalonde.
Madame Lalonde.
Mr. Kadri.
Mr. Kadri.
Mr. Dixon.
Mr. Dixon.
Mrs. Mangat.
Mrs. Mangat.
Mr. Kraft.
Mr. Kraft.
Mrs. McGarry.
Mrs. McGarry.
Mr. Morrow.
Mr. Morrow.
Ms. Jassic.
Mr. Jassic.
Mr. Zimmer.
Mr. Zimmer.
Mrs. Albanese.
Mrs. Albanese.
Ms. McMahon.
Ms. McMahon.
Mr. Ballard.
Mr. Ballard.
Ms. Naidu-Harris.
Ms. Naidu-Harris.
Ms. Wong.
Ms. Wong.
Mr. Fraser.
Mr. Fraser.
Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Baker.
Mr. Baker.
Mr. Dong.
Mr. Dong.
Ms. Hogarth.
Ms. Hogarth.
Ms. Koala.
Ms. Koala.
Ms. Molly.
Ms. Molly.
Mrs. Martin.
Mrs. Martin.
Mr. Milchin.
Mr. Milchin.
Mr. Potts.
Mr. Potts.
Mr. Rinaldi.
Mr. Rinaldi.
Ms. Vernio.
Ms. Vernio.
Madame de Rosier.
Madame de Rosier.
Ms. Taylor.
Ms. Taylor.
Monsieur Bisson.
Mr. Bisson.
Mr. Vantoff.
Mr. Vantoff.
Mr. Tabbins.
Mr. Tabbins.
Mr. Miller, Hamilton East Stony Creek.
Mr. Miller, Hamilton East Stony Creek.
Ms. Sattler.
Ms. Sattler.
Madame Jelena.
Madame Jelena.
Ms. Fife.
Ms. Fife.
Ms. Campbell.
Ms. Campbell.
Mr. Hatfield.
Mr. Hatfield.
Ms. French.
Ms. French.
All those opposed, please rise one at a time. Be recognized by the clerk.
Mrs. Marteau.
Mrs. Marteau.
Mr. Arnott.
Mr. Arnott.
Mr. Hardeman.
Mr. Hardeman.
Ms. McLeod.
Ms. McLeod.
Mr. Wilson.
Mr. Wilson.
Mr. Clark.
Mr. Clark.
Mr. Fidelli.
Mr. Fidelli.
Mr. Yakubuski.
Mr. Yakubuski.
Mr. McNaught.
Mr. McNaught.
Ms. Thompson.
Ms. Thompson.
Mr. Barrett.
Mr. Barrett.
Mrs. Monroe.
Mrs. Monroe.
Mr. Urick.
Mr. Urick.
Mr. Smith.
Mr. Smith.
Mr. Bailey.
Mr. Bailey.
Mr. Osterhoff.
Mr. Osterhoff.
Mr. Walker.
Mr. Walker.
Mr. Harris.
Mr. Harris.
Mr. Nichols.
Mr. Nichols.
Mr. McDonnell.
Mr. McDonnell.
Mr. Pettipies.
Mr. Pettipies.
Mr. Coe.
Mr. Coe.
Mr. McLaren.
Mr. McLaren. The ayes are 63, the nays are 23.
The ayes being 63, the nays being 23, I declare the motion carried.
Third reading of the bill, troisième lecture du projet de loi.
Be resolved that the bill do now pass and be entitled as in the motion.